There are places in the world where time keeps its secrets close, not lost by accident, but kept. Tonight, we follow 5 of those places. 5 discoveries that refuse to fit the story we were taught in school. They are real. They are studied. And each one leaves us with the same small, stubborn question. What else have we forgotten? If you love strange truths, and the kind of discoveries the world was not meant to share, you will be very lucky if you subscribe. Because there are more to reveal. We begin in the white hush of the desert. White sand laid under a wide sky. A plain of gypsum, soft as bone. People have walked here for thousands of years. But in the last decade, scientists found something that changed the map of our past. Deep in the dunes. Footprints. Not 1 or 2. But long trails. Human steps, preserved in layers of ancient lakebed mud. Careful study, radiocarbon dating and geological tests placed those prints not at a few thousand years ago, but much farther back. Some of the tracks match a time when ice still hugged the continents. A time when the world was colder. A time when the people who left those marks should not have been here, by every textbook we read. What makes those tracks strange is not only age. Alongside some prints are animal marks. Tracks that do not clearly match modern species. Shapes and sizes that make researchers pause. Archaeologists who study these prints are cautious. They do not leap to wild claims. They measure, photograph, and test. But the bones of the problem remain. Footprints are literal evidence, a human foot pressed into time. When a footprint does not fit our timeline must bend. If people walked here, who were they? What did they know about the land? And what other traces did they leave, buried, waiting? From the soft white of the desert, we travel to a place of stone and impossible joins. High above, where the air thins near Lake Titicaca, stands Pumapunku, an ancient site in Bolivia, part of a larger complex called Tiwanaku. At first glance, it is a ruin like so many others. Broken walls, fallen blocks, windblown dust. But then you look closer, and you see joints so precise they seem mechanical. Blocks carved to fit one another with millimeter accuracy. Edges cut straight as if by a saw no one in that time possessed. Some stones weigh many tons, moved, lifted, and set in place on terraces, with no mortar, no cement, no clear explanation for how they were carved so cleanly. Archaeologists debate methods. Some say advanced planning, master stonemasonry, and a deep knowledge of geometry. Others point to tools of bronze, stone, and grit. Clever, but not miraculous. Then there are the alignments. Several walls seem oriented to the rising sun at certain times of year. Some researchers suggest astronomical knowledge was woven into the architecture, a stone calendar written in rock. The mystery lives in the detail. Small cuts that fit like keys. Surfaces smoothed with a finish hard to reproduce even today. And a few pieces so heavy and oddly shaped that even moving them now is a major engineering feat. Who drew the plans? Who organized the labor? And why build this, in this exact place, on this exposed highland? Pumapunku leaves a feeling that the builders understood not only stone, but systems. They thought in parts and joints, like designers of devices, not only of monuments. From carved stone, we move to tiny tools so small they ask us to look with new eyes. In central India, natural rock shelters hold paintings and objects from very old times. Bhimbetka is a long place of human presence, walls painted with hunting scenes, with dancers, with deer. But among the big images, explorers found very small tools. Microliths. Tiny blades and points, shaped so precisely they look almost fragile enough to break when touched. These are not the raw, roughly flaked stones we imagine from deep prehistory. They are delicate, tuned, balanced. Tools that suggest a mind trained to work at microscopic scale. Archaeologists ask practical questions. Were they used for fine carving? For treatments of hide? For weaving? Or were they part of ritual practice, placed patiently and deliberately? Tests show they were intentionally produced and carefully stored. Some appear arranged, almost catalogued. And attempts to reproduce them with modern methods can fail, because the technique requires a patience and a touch many do not easily master. The wonder of Bhimbetkha's microliths is this. They remind us that sophistication is not only grand monuments or giant stones. Sometimes, mastery lives in the small. Sometimes, the most advanced hands are the ones that can make the tiniest thing perfect. And finally, we come to glass that changes color like a living jewel. Deep in the collections of a great museum rests a small Roman cup. It is beautiful, delicate, carved with a scene from myth. But it has a trick. In the light you hold near it, the glass turns green. Hold it to a different light, and it becomes red. This is not paint. It is not an optical illusion. It is the glass itself, its color changing with the light source. Modern analysis revealed the reason. Tiny particles of gold and silver dispersed in the glass. Nanoparticles. A kind of ancient nanotechnology, embedded by Roman glassmakers for reasons we still puzzle over. For the people who made it, perhaps it was magic. For modern scientists, it is an early mastery of materials, deliberate, controlled, and stunning for a civilization that lacked our microscopes. The cup stands as proof. The ancients were often more clever than we give them credit for. They mixed art and chemistry. They read light, and then wrote with it. 4 discoveries, 4 strange meetings with the past. Footprints pressed into dust. Stone cut with impossible joins. Tiny tools that ask for care. Glass that changes color like a living thing. What do they share? They teach us a single, patient lesson. That human history is not a straight ladder of progress. It is a tapestry of rises and falls, of knowledge gained, lost, and sometimes rediscovered. When we pull at a single thread, a footprint, a block, a blade, a carving, a cup, the whole woven image can wobble. Maybe that is the point of these mysteries. Not to tell us where we came from, but to remind us how much we still do not know. If tonight's journey has moved you, leave a thought below. Tell us which discovery surprised you most. And if you like hearing the hidden side of history, you will be very lucky if you subscribe. Because there are more to reveal. Until next time, keep your mind open and your eyes ready. The world hides 1,000 small truths. And some of them are patient enough to wait until we learn how to see.